All right, shalom, shalom, yasharal, shalom, shalom, ashbaka, shalom, shalom. We are going to continue part two of the Natsarym Shabbat reading, and also as well as with um, the 10 days of reflection up into Yom HaKapparim, Day of Atonement. And I tell you the truth, I don't think we're gonna get there because it's getting late. I'm not in my own place. Normally I'd enjoy to be reading very out loud in my own quarters, but I don't. I have to be mindful of my roommates, so I want to make sure I'm respectful. The walls are pretty thin. I can hear everything, not everything, but TV and stuff, so I'm sure they can hear me. So I'm trying to keep it down. And nonetheless, I wanted to at least finish what I had going for the Shabbat reading, Natsarym Shabbat reading, and apologize I didn't get started earlier. Had a lot of things earlier this Yom to take care of. I know Shabbat rest, but I had somebody who needed um, some help that was in a very type of way that called for it. So nothing was done financially, or anything like that. No work kind of thing, just helping somebody out with something. So nonetheless, yeah, let's continue. We shall now commence the second part of the Natsarym Shabbat reading with the command to remember the Shabbat Yom and to keep it Qudash. And why this is important? Because I realize, even after not reading some of these passages uh, 2 weeks ago, or even last week, um, reading them this week, I almost was having trouble remembering where they were at. And so I'm like, man, that's just, skipping 1 week. Imagine going like a month without reading some passages. It's like, it leaves us, so we always have to constantly stir these things to reminder. And maybe that's just me. Maybe some of y'all have a lot of this retained. I have it too, generally, but certain specifics on certain ones, sometimes it just, you get that brain fart moment. So I like to stay reading so everything stays fresh at all times. But nonetheless, yeah, I feel like sometimes Yahuwah wants to give us time when we're not just in the Word, but we should be at the same time. It's His Yom, and He's the Word, so we should be in the Word for sure, remembering this stuff and taking time to have our neighbor as ourselves and spending time with each other too. So balance, praise God. Shamot, Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Shabbat Yom to Qudash it. 6 Yomim you labor and shall do all your work, but the seventh Yom is the Shabbat of Yahuwah, your Elohim. You do not do any work, you nor your bond, nor your daughter, your bat, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 Yomim Yahuwah made the Shamayim and the Arats, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh Yom. Therefore, Yahuwah Baruch the Shabbat Yom and Kadash it. Shamot, Exodus chapter 31. Verse 12. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, And you speak to the children of Yasharal, saying, My Shabbatot you are to guard by all means. For this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, to know that I, Yahuwah, Qudash you, and you shall guard the Shabbat, for it is Qudash to you. Everyone who profanes it shall certainly be put to death in the day of judgment. For anyone who does work on it, that being shall be cut off from among his people, those in covenant with Yah especially. 6 Yomim work is done, and on the seventh is a Shabbat of rest, Qudash to Yahuwah. Everyone doing work on the Shabbat Yom shall certainly be put to death. Again, speaking in terms of those in covenant with Yah, just like he says, those who are teachers are judged with stricter judgment in the same way that already kind of paves the way, blueprints, that those who are considered covenant in Yasharal are maybe under more severe judgment than the nations. Because it says, those who knew to do what was right and did not do it shall be stricken with multitude blows. But those who didn't know what was right and didn't do it, only a few blows because they didn't know. And so Yasharal would shall, shall suffer stricter judgments for knowing the covenant, knowing the Torah, and not doing it like Shabbat. But the nations aren't necessarily in covenant. Like that part of the nations that do righteousness according to their own understanding, to do the word, have a sense of the moral values and how to treat each other and whatnot, and doing what's right and stuff. But maybe not just as it pertains to Yahuwah and like Sabbath, Shabbat. Like maybe they don't know about it or don't just haven't had that. Well, they're not going to be punished as much for it because they didn't know. But for those who are in covenant but are, breaking the Sabbath in certain ways, breaking certain Torah commands, under stricter judgments because he knew, and it's personal between us and Yah. So, because it's like mocking Yah to his face that you chose. It's like being an enemy to Yah. It's like making a mockery out of him with the enemy. So it's kind of like that. And the children of Yasharal shall guard the Shabbat to perform the Shabbat throughout their generations as an everlasting covenant. Between me and the children of Yasharal it is a sign, dur, forever. For in 6 Yomim Yahuwah made the Shamayim and the Arats, and on the seventh Yom he rested and was refreshed. And when he had ended speaking with him on Mount Sinai, he gave Masha 2 tablets of sapphire stones of the witness, tablets of sapphire stone written with the finger of Elohim. Alright, continue. Let's go to Yarmayahu, Jeremiah 17. I love this chapter. It has become one of my favorite chapters. There's so much Yarmayahu says here. Yarmayahu, Jeremiah chapter 17. But we're going to pick up at verse 5. Thus said Yahuwah, cursed is the man, that Adam, who trusts in man and makes flesh his arm, and whose love turns away from Yahuwah. For he shall be like a shrub in the desert, and not see when Dub comes, and shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, a salt land that is not inhabited. Baruch is the Adam who trusts in Yahuwah, and whose trust is Yahuwah. For he shall be like a tree planted by the Maim, that spreads out its roots by the river, and does not see when heat comes. And his leaves shall be green, and in the year of drought he is not anxious, nor does he cease from yielding fruit. The lob is crooked above all and desperately sick. Who shall know it? I, Yahuwah, search the lob, I try the kidneys, and give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. As a partridge that broods but does not hatch, so is he who gets riches but not by right. It leaves him in the midst of his yamim, and at his end he is a fool. An esteemed throne, exalted from the beginning, is the place of Amakdash. O Yahuwah, the expectation of Yasharal. All who forsake you are put to shame. Those who depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken Yahuwah, the fountain of living Ma'im. So didn't Yahusha write them in the earth? They forsook him, so he wrote them in the earth. Heal me, O Yahuwah, so that I am healed. Save me, so that I am saved, for you are my praise. See, they say to me, where is the word of Yahuwah? Let it come now. And I have not run away from being a shepherd who follows you, nor have I longed for the woeful yom. You yourself have known that what came out of my lips was before you. Do not be a ruin to me. You are my shelter in the yom of evil. Let these who persecute me be put to shame, but do not let me be put to shame. Let them be broken, but do not let me be broken. Bring on them the yom of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. Talking about like the whore of Babylon, mixing her cup double the wrath, mixing her cup of wrath double destruction. Bring on them the yom of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. Thus Yahuwah said to me, go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, by where the sovereigns of Yehudah come in, and by where they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem. And you shall say to them, hear the word of Yahuwah, you sovereigns of Yehudah, and all Yehudah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, who enter by these gates. Thus said Yahuwah, guard yourselves, and bear no burden on the Shabbat Yom, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem, nor take a burden out of your houses on the Shabbat Yom, nor do any work, and you shall Qudash the Shabbat Yom, as I commanded your Abim. But they did not obey, or incline their ear, and they made their neck stiff, nor not to hear, and not to receive instruction. And it shall be, if you diligently obey me, declares Yahuwah, to bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the Shabbat Yom, and Kadash the Shabbat Yom, to do no work in it. Then sovereigns and heads sitting on the throne of Daud shall enter in through the gates of this city, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their heads, the men of Yehudah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall be inhabited forever. And they shall come from the cities of Yehudah, and from the places around Jerusalem, and from the land of Benjamin, and from the low country, from the mountains, and from the Negab, bringing burnt offerings and slaughterings, grain offerings and incense, bringing offerings of praise of halal to the house of Yahuwah. But if you do not obey me to Qudash the Shabbat Yom, and not to bear a burden when entering the gates of Jerusalem on the Shabbat Yom, then I shall kindle a fire in its gates, and it shall consume the palaces of Jerusalem and not be quenched. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah, chapter 6, 16. Thus said Yahuwah, stand in the ways and see, And as for the old ancient paths where the true and righteous way is, and walk in it and find the Shabbat rest for yourselves. But they said, We do not walk. And I raised up watchmen over you. Listen to the sound of the kudu horn, the shofar. But they said, We do not listen. Therefore, hear, you nations, and know, O congregations, what is upon them. Hear, O Arats. See, I am bringing evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not listened to my words, nor my Torah, and they rejected it. What need have I of frankincense from Sheba, and sweet cane from a distant land? Your burnt offerings are not acceptable, and your slaughterings have not been sweet to me. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah, See, I am laying stumbling blocks before this people, and the Abim and the Banim together shall stumble on them. The neighbor and his friend shall perish. Thus said Yahuwah, See, a people shall come from the land of the north, and a great nation is stirred up from the farthest parts of the earth. They seize bow and spear. They are cruel and have no compassion. Their voices roar like the sea, and they ride on horses put in array, as a man for battle against you, O daughter of Sion. I'm just going to try to move through these fast right now, because I want to hit a few more. Yashiyahu 24. See, Yahuwah is making the Arats empty, and making it waste, and shall overturn its surface, and shall scatter abroad its inhabitants. And it shall be as with the people, so with the Kahan, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the female servant, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the creditor, so with the debtor. The earth is completely emptied and utterly plundered, for Yahuwah has spoken this word. The earth shall mourn and wither, the world shall languish and wither, the haughty people of the earth shall languish. For the earth has been defiled under its inhabitants, because they have transgressed the Torut, Tarat, changed the law, and broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse shall consume the Arats, the earth, and those who dwell in it be punished. Therefore the inhabitants of the Arats shall be burned, and few men shall be left. Skipping ahead. Verse 13. For thus it is to be in the midst of the Arats among the peoples, like the shaking of an olive tree, like the gleaning of grapes when the grape harvest is done. They lift up their voice, they sing of the but these lift up their voice, they sing of the excellency of Yahuwah. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Therefore esteem Yahuwah in the east, the name of Yahuwah, Elohim of Yasharal in the coastlands of the sea. From the ends of the Arats we shall hear songs, splendor to the righteous one. But I say, I waste away, woe to me! The treacherous betray with treachery, the treacherous betray. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitants of the Arats. And it shall be that he who flees from the noise of the fear falls into the pit, and he who comes out from the midst of the pit is caught in the snare. For the windows from on high shall be opened, and the foundations of the Arats be shaken. The Arats shall be utterly broken, and the Arats shall be completely shattered. The Arats shall be fiercely shaken. The Arats shall stagger like a drunkard, and it shall totter like a hut, and its transgression shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And in that yom it shall be that Yahuwah punishes on high the multitude of exalted beings, and on the Arats the sovereigns of the Arats, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners and gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prisons, and be punished after multitude yomim, even 1,000 years. And the moon shall blush, and the sun shall be ashamed. For Yahuwah of Sabaoth, of multitudes and armies, shall reign on Mount Sion, and in Jerusalem, and before his elders in esteem. Word of Yahuwah, Yahusha, hallelujah, Yahusha. Chazon, Revelation. Chazon, Revelation, chapter 20. And I saw Malach coming down from Shamaim, having the key to the pit of the deep and a great chain in his hand. And he seized the dragon, the serpent of old, who is the devil and Hashatan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he threw him into the pit of the deep and shut him up, and put a seal on him, so that he should lead the nations no more astray, until the 1,000 years were ended. And after that he has to be released for a little while. And I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was given to them. And the time of those who had been beheaded because of the witness they bore to Yahusha, and because of the word of Yahuwah, and who did not reverence the beast system, nor his image, the cultural image, and did not receive his mark upon their foreheads or upon their hands. And they lived and reigned with Mashiach for 1,000 years. And the rest of the dead did not come to Chai until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Barak Baruch and Qudash is the one having part in the first resurrection. The second death possesses no authority over these, but they shall be Kahanim of Yahuwah and of Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years have ended, Hashatan shall be released from his prison, and he shall go out to lead the nations astray that are in the four corners of the Arats, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for battle, whose number is as the sand of the sea. And they came up over the breadth of the Arats and surrounded the camp of the Kodashim and the beloved city. And fire came down from Alahim out of the midst of the Shamaim and consumed them. And the devil who led them astray was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false nab are, and they shall be tortured Yom and Laila forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him who was sitting on it, from whose face the Arats and the Shamaim fled away, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and books were opened, and another book was opened that is high. So notice it talked about I saw And I saw a great white throne, and him who was sitting on it, from whose face the Arats and the Shamaim fled away. The earth and the sky, the Shamaim fled away, no place was found for them. And earlier in Yashayahu 24, we read that the moon and the sun were ashamed, were blushed and were ashamed. It's kind of like that. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and books were opened. And another book was opened, that is Chai. And the dead were judged from what was written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it, and death and the grave gave up the dead who were in them, and they were judged, each one according to his works. And the death and the grave were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And if anyone was not found written in the book of Chai, he was thrown into the lake of fire. Continuing back to Yashayahu, go to actually let's do Tahalim, Tahalim, chapter 1 or chapter 2. Why do the Gentiles, the Goyim, rage, and the peoples meditate emptiness? The sovereigns of the Arats take their stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahuwah and against his Mashiach. Let us tear apart their bonds from us, and throw away their ropes from us. He who is sitting in the Shamayim laughs. Yahuwah mocks at them. Then he speaks to them in his wrath, and troubles them in his rage. But I have put my sovereign on Sion, my Qudash mountain. I have inscribed for a Torah, for a law. Yahuwah has said to me, You are my bond. This yom I have brought you forth. Ask of me, and I make the Goyim your inheritance, and the ends of the Arats your possession. Break them with the rod of iron, dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. And now be wise, O sovereigns, be instructed, you rulers of the Arats. Serve Yahuwah with reverence, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the bond, lest he be enraged, and you perish in the way. For soon his wrath is to be kindled. Baruch are all those taking refuge in him. Word of Yahuwah, Yahusha, hallelujah. Let's go now to back to Yashayahu, read the end of 26 there. In that Yom, Yashayahu, Isaiah 26, in that Yom this song is sung in the land of Yahudah. We have a strong city. He appoints deliverance, walls and ramparts. Open the gates. Let the righteous nation that guards the truth enter in. The one steadfast of mind, you guard in perfect shalom. For he trusts in you. Trust in Yahuwah forever. For in Yahuwah is the rock of ages. For he shall bring down those who dwell on high. He lays the exalted city low. He lays it low to the Arats. He brings it down to the dust. A foot tramples it down, feet of the poor, and footsteps of the needy. The path of the righteous is uprightness, O upright one. You weigh the course of the righteous, and also in the path of your right rulings, O Yahuwah. We have waited for you. The longing of our being, our nafash, is for your name and for the remembrance of you. My nafash longs for you in the night. Also my ruach, My being longs for you in the night. Also, my ruach within me seeks you earnestly. For when your right rulings are in the arats, the inhabitants of the world shall learn righteousness. The wicked even finds compassion and favor, yet he shall not learn righteousness. In the land of straightforwardness, he acts perversely and does not see the excellency of Yahuwah. O Yahuwah, your hand is high. They do not see. They see the ardor of the people and are ashamed. Also let the fire of your for your adversaries consume them. O Yahuwah, you establish shalom for us, for you have also done all our works in us. O Yahuwah, Aralahim, other masters besides you have had rule over us. Only in you do we make mention of your name. The dead do not live, the departed spirits do not rise. Therefore you have visited and destroyed them, and made all the remembrance to perish. You shall increase the nation, O Yahuwah. You shall increase the nation. You are esteemed. You shall expand all the borders of the land. O Yahuwah, in distress they shall visit you. They shall pour out a petition when your disciplining is upon them. As a woman with child and about to give birth rises and cries out in her pain, so shall we be before your face, O Yahuwah. We have conceived, we writhed in pain, we have given birth to wind. We have not accomplished deliverance in the Arats, nor have the inhabitants of the world fallen. Let your dead live, and my dead body. Let them arise. Awake and sing, you who dwell in the dust, for your dew is a dew of light. And let the Arats give birth to the departed spirits. Go, my people, enter your rooms and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself, as it were, for a little while, until the displeasure is past. For look, Yahuwah is coming out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the Arats for their wickedness, and the Arats shall disclose her blood and no longer cover her slain. Word of Yahuwah, Allah Yahuwah, Yahusha. Let us go to Yeshayahu 12. And in that Yom you shall say, I Torah ta Yahuwah. Though you were enraged with me, your displeasure has turned back, and you have comforted me. See, Al is my deliverance. I trust and am not afraid. For Yahuwah, is my strength and my song, and he has become my deliverance. And you shall draw Ma'im with Samcha, with joy from the fountains of deliverance. And in that Yom you shall say, Praise Yahuwah, call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the peoples. Make mention that his name is exalted. Sing to Yahuwah, for he has done excellently. This is known in all the Arats. Cry aloud and shout, O inhabitants of Sion, for great is the Qudash one of Yasharab in your midst. Chapter 13. The message concerning Babel that Yashayahu son of Amot saw. Lift up a banner on the high mountain. Raise your voice to them. Wave your hand. Let them enter the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my Karoshim. I have also called my mighty men for my displeasure. my proudly exulting ones. The noise of an uproar in the mountains, like that of multitudes of people, a noise of uproar of the reins of the goyim gathered together. Yahuwah, Sabaoth, of multitudes and armies, is also gathering an army for battle. They are coming from a distant land, from the end of the Shamayim, even Yahuwah and his weapons of displeasure, to destroy all the Arats. Howl, for the Yom of Yahuwah is near. It comes as a destruction from Al Shaddai. Therefore, all hands go limp, every man's lap melts, and they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows take hold of them. They are in pain as a woman in labor. They are amazed at one another, their faces aflame. See, the Yom of Yahuwah is coming, fierce with wrath and heat of displeasure, to lay the Arats waste and destroy its sinners from it. For the Kokabim of the Shamayim and the constellations do not give off their light. The sun shall be dark at its rising, and the moon not send out its light. And I shall punish the world for its evil, and the wicked for their wickedness, and shall put an end to the arrogance of the proud, and lay low the pride of the ruthless. I shall make mortal man scarcer than fine gold, and mankind than the gold of Ophir. So I shall make the Shamayim tremble, and the Arats shall be shaken from her place, in the wrath of Yahuwah, Sabaoth, of multitudes and armies, and in that Yom of the heat of his displeasure. And it shall be as the hunted gazelle, and as the sheep that no man takes up. Every man turns to his own people, and every one flees to his own land. Whoever is found is thrust through, and every one taken falls by the sword. And their children are dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses plundered, and their wives ravished. See, I am stirring up the Madim against him who do not regard silver, and as for gold, they do not delight in it. And bows dash the young to pieces, and they have no compassion on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes spares no children. And the splendor of the reins, the comeliness of the Kasdim, pride, LGBT pride, shall be as when Elohim overthrew Sodom and Amorah. She shall never be inhabited, nor be wrested from or established from generation to generation. Nor shall the Arabian pitch their tents there, nor shepherds rest their flocks there, but wild beasts of the desert of darkness shall lie there, and their houses shall be filled with owls, and ostriches shall dwell there, and wild goats frolic there, and hyenas shall cry in their citadels, and jackals in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her yomim are not drawn out. Chazon, Revelation chapter 4. I'm sorry, Chazon, forgive me. Yashayahu, chapter 14. Get tired. Yashayahu, Isaiah 14. For Yahuwah has compassion on Yaakov, and shall again choose Yasharal, and give them rest in their own land, and the strangers shall join them, and they shall cling to the house of Yaakov, and people shall take them and bring them to their own place, and the house of Yasharal shall possess them for servants and female servants in the land of Yahuwah, and they shall make captives of their captors, and rule over their oppressors. And it shall be in the Yom Yahuwah gives you rest from your sorrow and from your trouble, and the hard service, and where you were made to serve, that you shall take up this proverb against the sovereign of Ba, and say, how the oppressor has ceased, the gold gatherer ceased. Yahuwah has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with ceaseless blows, he who ruled the goyim in displeasure, is persecuted, and no one restrains. All the Arats is at rest, and at Shalom they shall break forth into singing. Even the cypress tree rejoice over you, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since you were cut down, no woodcutter come up against us. I'm going to just leave it there. All the Arats is at rest, and at Shalom they shall break forth into singing. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 30, verse 8. And go, write it before them on a tablet, and inscribe it on a scroll, that it is for a latter yom, a witness forever, dur, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children who refuse to hear the Torah of Yahuwah, who say to the seers, do not see, and to the Nabim, do not nabah to us what is right, speak to us what is smooth, nabah deceits, turn aside from the way, and swerve from the path, cause the Qudash one of Yasharal to cease from before us. Therefore, thus said the Qudash one of Yasharal, because you despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and rely on them. Therefore, this wickedness is to you like a breach ready to fall, a bulge in a high wall, whose breaking comes suddenly, swiftly, and he shall break it like the breaking of a potter's vessel, that is broken in pieces without sparing, so that there is not found among its fragments a share to take fire from the hearth, or to take ma'in from the cistern. For thus said the Adon Yahuwah, the Kadash one of Yasharal, in returning and rest you are saved. In stillness and trust is your strength, but you would not. And you said, no, for we flee upon horses, therefore you flee, and we ride on swift horses, therefore those who pursue you are swift. 1,000 at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of five, you shall flee until you are left as a pole on top of a mountain and as a sign on a hill. And therefore Yahuwah shall wait to show you compassion and favor, and therefore he shall be exalted to have compassion on you. For Yahuwah is an Elohim of right ruling. Baruch are all those who wait for him. For the people shall dwell in Sion, at Jerusalem. You shall weep no more. He shall show you much compassion and favor to you at the sound of your cry. When he hears, he shall answer you. Though Yahuwah gave you bread of adversity and ma'im of affliction, your teachers shall no longer be hidden. But your eyes shall see your teacher, and your ears hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it, whenever you turn to the right, or whenever you turn to the left. And you shall defile the covering of your graven images of silver, and the plating of your molded images of gold. You shall throw them away as a minstrel cloth, and say to them, begone. And he shall give the rain for your seed, that with what you sow the ground, and bread of the increase of the arats, and it shall be fat and rich, their cattle grazing in an enlarged pasture in that yom, and the oxen and the young donkey that work the ground eat seasoned fodder, winnowed with shovel and fan. And on every high mountain and on every high hill there shall be rivers and streams of Maim. In the yom of great killing, when the towers fall, and the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun be sevenfold for the esteem of Yahuwah, as the light of 7 yomim. In that yom that Yahuwah binds up the breach of his people, and heals the wound of his blows. See, the name, power, and authority of Yahuwah is coming from afar, burning with his wrath and heavy smoke. His lips shall be filled with rage, and his tongue be as a devouring fire, and his breath shall be as an overflowing stream that reaches up to the neck to sift the nations with a sieve of falsehood and a misleading bridle on the jaws of the peoples. Let this song be to you as in a night Kadash for a festival, and gladness of love, as he who is going with the flute to come into the mountain of Yahuwah, to the rock of Yasharal, and Yahuwah shall cause his excellent voice to be heard, and show the coming down of his arm with raging wrath, and the flame of a consuming fire, with scattering and downpour and hailstones. For through the voice of Yahuwah Ashur is broken down, with the rod he smites, and every passage of the ordained staff with where he smites that Yahuwah lays on him shall be with tambourines and lyres, when he shall fight with it, battling with the brandishing arm. For Tufa, the valley of flames, was ordained of old, even for the sovereign it has been prepared. He has made it deep and large, its fire pit with much wood, the breath of Yahuwah, as a stream of burning sulphur is burning and does kindle it. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 4. And in that Yom 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we shall eat our own food and wear our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. In that Yom the branch of Yahuwah shall be splendid and esteemed, and the fruit of the Arats shall be excellent and comely for the escaped ones of Yasharal. And it shall be that he who is left in Sion and he who remains in Jerusalem is called Qudash. Everyone who is written among the living in Jerusalem, when Yahuwah has washed away the filth of the daughters of Batim of Sion, and rinsed away the blood of Jerusalem from her midst, by the Spirit, by the Ruach of judgment, and by the Ruach of burning. Then Yahuwah shall create above every dwelling place of Mount Sion, and above her congregations, a cloud and a smoke by Yom, and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For over all the esteem shall be a covering, and a booth for shade in the Yom time from the heat, for a place of refuge, and for a shelter from storm and rain. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 32. For see, a sovereign shall reign in righteousness, and rulers rule in right ruling, and each one of his rulers shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a shelter from the downpour, as rivers of Maim in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of those who see are not dim, and the ears of those who hear listen. And the lob of the rash understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammers hurries to speak plainly. A fool is no longer called noble, nor the scoundrel said to be respectable. For a fool speaks folly, and his lob works wickedness, to practice filthiness, and to speak against Yahuwah that what misleads, and to starve the being of the hungry, and to withhold a drink from the thirsty. And the methods of the scoundrel are evil, and he has devised wicked plans to destroy the poor with words of falsehood, even when the needy pleads for right ruling and is in the right. But the generous one devises what is generous, and by generous deeds he rises up. Rise up, you women who are at ease. Hear my voice, you complacent Batim. Listen to my speech. In little more than a year you shall be troubled, you complacent women. For the grape harvest shall fail, the ingathering shall not come. Tremble, you women who are at ease. Be troubled, you complacent ones. Strip yourselves and make yourselves bare, and gird sackcloth on your waists. Lament upon the breasts for the pleasant fields, for the fruit bearing vine, the righteous. For weeds and thorn bushes come up over the ground of my people, the wicked, indeed, for over all the house of joy, the city of revelry. For the palace is abandoned, the crowded city deserted. Hill and watchtower serve as caves forever, a joy of wild donkeys, a pasture of flocks, until the ruach of Yahuwah is poured upon us from on high, and then the wilderness shall become garden land, and the garden land be reckoned as a forest. Then right ruling shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness remain in the garden land. The work of righteousness shall be shalom, and the service of righteousness be rest and safety forever. Turu, turu, turu. And my people shall dwell in a home of shalom, and in safe dwellings, and in undisturbed resting places, even when hail shall fall, felling the forest, and the city be brought low in humiliation. Baruch are you, who sow beside all Maim, and who send out the foot of the ox and the donkey. Yashayahu Isaiah 60. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the esteem of Yahuwah has risen upon you. For look, darkness covers the Arats, and darkness clouds the peoples. But Yahuwah arises over you, and his esteem is seen upon you. And the Goyim shall come to your light, and the sovereigns to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes all around and see, all of them have gathered, they have come to you. Your banim come from afar, and your badim are supported on their side. Then you shall see and be bright, and your lob shall throb and swell, for the wealth of the sea is turned to you, the riches of the goyim shall come to you. A stream of camels cover your land, the dromedaries of Madian and Apha. All those from Shabat come bearing gold and incense and proclaiming the praises of Yahuwah. All the flocks of Kedar are gathered to you. The rams of Nabayut serve you. They come up for acceptance on my slaughter table, and I embellish my esteemed house. Who are these who fly like a cloud and like doves to their windows? Because the coastlands wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring your banim from afar, their silver and their gold with them, to the name of Yahuwah your Elohim, and to the Qudash one of Yasharal, because he has adorned you. And the banim of foreigners shall build your walls, and their sovereigns serve you. For in my wrath I have smitten you, but in my delight I shall have compassion on you. And your gates shall be open continually; they are not shut yom or night, Lila, to bring to you the wealth of the goyim and their sovereigns in procession. For the nation and the reign that do not serve you shall perish, and those goyim shall be utterly laid waste. The esteem of Lebanon shall come to you, cypress, pine, and the box tree together, to embellish the place of my Makdash, my dwelling, and I shall make the place of my feet esteemed. And the banim of those who afflicted you come bowing to you, and all those who despised you shall bow themselves at the sole of your feet, and they shall call you City of Yahuwah, Sion of the Qudash one of Yasharal, instead of you being forsaken and hated, so that no one passes through you. I shall make you an everlasting excellence, a joy, a samcha of multitude generations. And you shall drink dry the milk of the breast, and you shall drink dry the milk of the goyim, and shall milk the breast of sovereigns. And you shall know that I, Yahuwah, your Savior and your Redeemer, am the Elohim of Yaakov. Instead of bronze, I bring gold, and instead of iron, I bring silver, and bronze instead of wood, and iron instead of stones. And I shall make your officers shalom, and your magistrates righteousness. Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, neither wasting nor ruin within your borders. And you shall call your walls deliverance, and your gates praise. No longer is the sun your light by yom, nor does the moon give light to you for brightness. But Yahuwah shall be to you an everlasting light, and your Elohim your comeliness. No longer does your sun go down, nor your moon withdraw itself, for Yahuwah shall be your everlasting light, and the yomim of your mourning shall be ended, and you and your people, all of them righteous, shall inherit the Arats forever. Tur, tur, tur. A branch of my planting, a work of my hands to be adorned. The little one shall become 1,000, and the small one a strong nation. I, Yahuwah, shall hasten it in its time. Word of Yahuwah. Hallelujah, Yahusha. Let us go to Yeshayahu Isaiah 62. For Sion's sake I am not silent, and for Yerushalayim's sake I do not rest, until her righteousness goes forth as brightness, and her deliverance as a lamp that burns. And the nations shall see your righteousness, and all the sovereigns your esteem, and you shall be called by a new name that the mouth of Yahuwah designates, and you shall be a crown of comeliness in the hand of Yahuwah, and a royal headdress in the hand of your Elohim. No longer are you called forsaken, and no longer is your land called deserted, but you shall be called I delight in her, and your land married. For Yahuwah shall delight in you, and your land be married. For as a young man marries a maiden, so shall your banim marry you. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall your Elohim rejoice over you. I have put watchmen on your walls, O Yerushalayim, all the Yom and all the Laila, continually, who are not silent. You who remember Yahuwah, give yourselves no rest, and give him no rest, till he establishes and till he makes Yerushalayim a praise in the Arats. Yahuwah has sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength. No more do I give you grain to be food for your enemies, nor do banim of the foreigner drink your new wine, for that what you have labored. But those gathering it shall eat it, and hallelujah, and those collecting it shall drink it in my Qudash courts. Pass through the gates, prepare the way for the people, build up the highway, remove the stones, the stumbling blocks, lift up a banner that is the standard for the peoples. See, Yahuwah has proclaimed to the ends of the Arats. Say to the daughter, the Bat of Sion, see, your deliverance has come. See, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall be called the Qudash people, the redeemed of Yahuwah. And you shall be called sought out, a city not forsaken. Word of Yahuwah, Yahusha, Hallelujah, Yahusha. Yeshayahu Isaiah 61, 8. For I, Yahuwah, love right ruling. I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I shall give the reward in truth, and make an everlasting covenant with them, and their seed shall be known among the Goyim, and their offspring in the midst of the peoples. All who see them shall acknowledge them that they are the seed Yahuwah has Baruch. I greatly rejoice in Yahuwah, my being exalted my Elohim, for he has put garments of deliverance on me. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decks himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. For as the arad springs forth its bud, and the garden causes the seed to shoot up, so the Adon, Yahuwah, causes righteousness and praise to shoot up before all the nations. Yashayahu, Isaiah 56. Thus said Yahuwah, guard right ruling, and do righteousness, for near is my deliverance to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Baruch is the man who does this, and the bond of Adam who lays hold on it, guarding the Shabat, lest he profane it, and guarding his hand from doing any evil. And let not the bond of the foreigner who has joined himself to Yahuwah speak, saying, Yahuwah has certainly separated me from his people, nor let the eunuch say, Look, I am a dry tree. For thus said Yahuwah to the eunuchs who guard my Shabbatot, and have chosen what pleases me, and hold fast to my covenant. To them I shall give in my house, and within my walls, a place and a name better than that of the Banim and the Batim daughters. I give them an everlasting name that is not cut off. That saying there is giving them a new body. He's saying they're eunuch, they're dried up, but an everlasting name, and they're not cut off, meaning he's speaking to them about giving them the ability to, again, be able to uh, be fruitful, multiply. So he's going to make them fruitful again. He's going to give them a new body. Also, the banim of the foreigner who joined themselves to Yahuwah to serve him. So this is to those Gentiles, they won't have to keep the law. He's encouraging you to do it. Also, the banim of the foreigner who joined themselves to Yahuwah to serve him, and to Ahaba, the name of Yahuwah, love it, to be his servants, all who guard the Shabbat and not profane it, and hold fast to my covenant. Them I shall bring to my Qudash mountain, and let them rejoice in my house of supplication and meditation. Their burnt offerings and their slaughterings are accepted on my slaughter table. For my house is called a house of supplication and meditation for all nations, all peoples. The Adon Yahuwah, who gathers the outcasts of Yasharal, the lost sheep of Yasharal, declares, I still gather to him besides those who are gathered to him to Yahusha, and that is the Goyim that are grafted in. Praise Yah. Hallelujah, Yahusha. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 65. For I have let myself be inquired of, not by those who asked. I was found not by those who sought me. I said, here I am, to a nation not calling on my name. I have held out my hands all year long to a stubborn people, who walk in a way that is not due, after their own thoughts. The people who provoke me continually to my face, who slaughter in gardens and burn incense on altars of brick, who sit among the graves and who spend the night in secret places, who eat the flesh of pigs and the broth of uncleanness is in their pots, who say, Keep to yourself, do not come near me, for I am cleaner, more Qudash than you. These are smoke in my nostrils, a fire that burns all Yom. See, it is written before me, I am not silent, but shall repay, and I shall repay into their bosom your wickednesses and the wickednesses of your Abim together, said Yahuwah, who burned incense on the mountains and reproached me on the hills, and I shall measure their former work into their bosom. Thus said Yahuwah, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one shall say, do not destroy it, for there is a baraka in it. So I do for my servants' sake, not to destroy them all. And I shall bring forth a seed from Jacob, and from Yehudah, an heir of my mountains, and my chosen ones shall inherit it, and my servants dwell there. And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks, and the valley of Akur a place for herds to lie down. For my people who have sought me, but you but you are those who forsake Yahuwah, who forget my Qudash mountain, the Torah, who prepare a table for God, and who fill a drink offering for Money. And I shall allot you to the sword, and let you all bow down to the slaughter, because I called and you did not answer. I spoke to you this word, and you did not hear, and you did evil before my eyes, and chose that and what I did not delight in. Therefore, thus said the Adon Yahuwah, see my servants eat, but you hunger. See my servants drink, but you thirst. See my servants rejoice, but you are put to shame. See my servants sing for joy for Samcha of Lab, but you cry for sorrow of Lab, and wail for breaking of Naphash. And you shall leave your name as a curse to my chosen. For the Adon Yahuwah shall put you to death, and call his servants by another Sham, so that he who barak himself in the Arats barak himself in the Allahim of truth, and he who swears in the Arats swears by the Allahim of truth, because the former distresses shall be forgotten, and because they shall be hidden from my eyes. For look, I am creating new Shemaim and a new Arats, and the former shall not be remembered nor come to lab, but be glad and rejoice, Dur, in what I create. For look, I create Yerushalayim, a rejoicing, and her people a Samcha. And I shall rejoice in Yerushalayim, and shall Samcha in my people. And let the voice of weeping no more be heard in her, nor the voice of crying. No more is an infant from there going to live but a few yomim, nor an old man who does not complete his yomim. For the youth, if he dies, dies 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be lightly esteemed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and plant vineyards and eat their fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit, they shall not plant and another eat. For the yomim of my people are going to be as the yomim, the days of a tree, and my chosen ones outlive the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth children for trouble, for they are the seed of the Baruch of Yahuwah, and their offspring with them. And it shall be that and it shall be that before they call, I answer, and while they are still speaking, I hear. Wolf and lamb feed together. A lion eats straw as an ox, and dust is the snake's food. They shall do no evil nor destroy in all my Kodash mountains, said Yahuwah. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 66. Thus said Yahuwah, the Shamayim are my throne, and the Arats is my footstool. Where is this house that you build for me? And where is this place of my rest? And all these my hands have made, and all these that exist, declares Yahuwah. Yet to such a one I look, on him who is poor and bruised of Naphash, and who trembles at my word. Whoever slaughters the bull slays a man, and the wicked who slaughters a lamb, it's as if he breaks a dog's neck. The wicked who brings a grain offering, it's as pig's blood. And the wicked who brings burnt incense, it's as if he barak an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their Nafashim delights in their abominations. I shall also choose their punishments, and bring their fears on them in the end. Because I called, but no one answered. I spoke, and they did not hear, and they did evil before my eyes, and chose what was displeasing to me. Hear the word of Yahuwah, you who tremble at his word. your Akim, your brothers who hate you, who cast you out for my name's sake, said, Let Yahuwah be esteemed, so that we see your samcha, your joy. But they are put to shame. A roaring sound from the city, a voice from the Haikal, the voice of Yahuwah, repaying his enemies. Before she labored, she gave birth. Before a pain came to her, she was delivered of a male child. Who has heard the like of this? Who has seen the like of these? Is a land brought forth in one yom? Is a nation born at once? For as soon as Sion labored, she gave birth to her children. Shall I bring to birth and not give delivery? Says Yahuwah. Shall I who give delivery restrain birth? Said your Elohim. Rejoice with Yerushalayim and be glad with her, all you who ahava her. Rejoice greatly with her, all you who mourn for her, so that you feed and shall be satisfied with the breast of her comforts, so that you drink deeply and shall delight yourselves in her overflowing esteem. For thus said Yahuwah. See, I am extending shalom to her like a river, and the esteem of the goyim like a flowing stream. And you shall feed, you shall be carried on the side, and be fondled on her knees. And one whom his Amma comforts, so I comfort you. And in Yerushalayim you are comforted. And you shall see, and your love shall rejoice, and your bones flourish as tender grass. And the hand of Yahuwah shall be known to his servants, and his displeasure to his enemies. For look, Yahuwah comes with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his displeasure with burning, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword Yahuwah shall judge all flesh, and the slain of Yahuwah shall be multitudes. Those who Qudash themselves and cleanse themselves at the gardens, cemeteries, after a dead one in the midst, eating flesh of pigs, and the abomination and the mouse come to an end altogether, declares Yahuwah. And I, because of their works and their imaginations, am coming to gather all nations and tongues, and that they shall come and see my esteem. And I shall point a sign among them, a standard, and shall send some of those who escape to the nations, Tarshish and Pool and Lud who draw the bow, and Tubal and Yalman, the coastlands far off, who have not heard my report, nor seen my esteem. And they shall declare my esteem among the Goyim, the nations, and they shall bring all your Achim as an offering to Yahuwah out of all the Goyim on horses and in chariots and in litters, on mules and on camels, to my Qudash mountain, Yerushalayim, declares Yahuwah. As the children of Yasharal bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of Yahuwah, and from them too I shall take 4 Kahanim, ministers, for Luim, declares Yahuwah. For as the new Shamayim and the new Arats that I make stand before me, declares Yahuwah, so your seed and your name shall stand, and it shall be that from Rash Kadash to Rash Kadash, new moon to new moon, and from Shabbat to Shabbat, all flesh shall come to reverence before me, declares Yahuwah. But they shall go forth and look upon the corpses of the men who have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, and their fire not be quenched, and they shall be repulsive to all flesh. Word of Yahuwah, Yahusha. Hallelujah, Yahuwah, Yahusha. Tahalim, Psalms 27. Tahalim, Psalms 27 of Dawood. Yahuwah is my light and my deliverance. Whom should I fear? Yahuwah is the refuge of my high. Whom should I dread? When evildoers come against me to eat up my flesh, my adversaries and my enemies. They shall stumble and fall. Though an army encamps against me, my love does not fear. Though battle comes up against me, even then I would be trusting. When I asked of Yahuwah, this I seek, to dwell in the house of Yahuwah all the yomim of my chai, to see the pleasantness of Yahuwah, and to inquire in his haikal. For in the yom of evil he hides me in his booth. For in the yom of evil he hides me in his booth. Salah. In the covering of his tent he hides me. On a rock he raises me up. And now my head is lifted up above my enemies all around. And I offer in his tent with offerings of shouts. I sing, I sing praises to Yahuwah. Hear, O Yahuwah, when I cry with my voice. And show me compassion and favor, and answer me to my love. To my love you have said, seek my face, your face, Yahuwah, I seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in my displeasure. Do not turn your servant away in displeasure. You have been my help. Do not leave me nor forsake me, O Elohim of my deliverance. When my Abba and my Amma have forsaken me, then Yahuwah takes me in. Teach me your way, O Yahuwah, and lead me in a smooth path because of my enemies. Do not give me over to the desire of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, and they breathe out violence to me. What if I had not believed to see the goodness of Yahuwah? What if I had not believed, trust, and obeyed to see the goodness of Yahuwah in the land of the living? Wait on Yahuwah. Be strong, and let him strengthen your love. Wait, I say, on Yahuwah. Tahalim Psalms 94. Tahalim Psalms 94. O Yahuwah, Allah vengeance. O Allah vengeance, shine forth. Raise yourself up, O judge of the Arats. Render punishment to the proud. Yahuwah, how long are the wicked? How long are the wicked going to exult? They pour forth, they speak arrogantly. All the workers of wickedness boast in themselves. They crush your people, O Yahuwah, and they afflict your inheritance. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless, the abaless. Yet they say, Yah does not see, and the Elohim of Yaakov pays no heed. Take heed, you senseless among the people, and you fools, when would you become wise? He who planted the ear, does he not hear? He who formed the eye, does he not see? He who disciplines the nations, does he not reprove? The one teaching man knowledge, Yahuwah, knows the thoughts of a man, that they are but a breath. Baruch is the Adam, the man you discipline, O Yah, and instruct out of your Torah, to give him rest from the yomim of evil, until the pit is dug for the wicked. For Yahuwah does not leave his people, nor does he forsake his inheritance. For right ruling returns to righteousness, and all the upright in love follow it. Who would rise up for me against evildoers? I don't know if you remember, but Yeshayahu quotes all this, Isaiah. He says, for right ruling returns to righteousness, and all the upright in love follow it. We read that in Isaiah. Yeshayahu. Who would rise up for me against evildoers? Who would stand up for me against workers of wickedness? If Yahuwah had not been my help, my being would soon have rested in silence. When I said, my foot has slipped, your kindness, O Yahuwah, supported me. When anxiety was great within me, your tender kindness and comforts delighted my being. Would a throne of destruction that devises trouble by law be joined with you? They band together against the high of the righteous, and declare innocent blood wicked. But Yahuwah is my defense, and my Elohim the rock of my refuge, and brings back on them their own wickedness, and cuts them off in their own wickedness. Yahuwah, our Elohim, cuts them off. Word of Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Yahusha. Go ahead and go to Scans, close this out. Go to Abarim, Hebrews. Abarim, Hebrews, chapter 4. Yeah, just don't for now, sure. Therefore, since a promise remains of entering into his rest, let us fear lest any of you seem to have come short of it. For indeed the great news was brought to us as well as to them at Mount Sinai, but the word that they heard did not benefit them, not having been mixed with belief in those who heard it. For we who have believed, trust, and obey do enter into that rest, as he has said, as I swore in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest. And yet his works have come into being from the foundation of the arats of the world. For somewhere he has said thus about the seventh yom, and Elohim rested on the seventh yom from all his works. And in this again, if they shall enter into my rest. Since then it remains for some to enter into it, and those who formerly received the great news at Mount Sinai did not enter in because of disobedience through unbelief. He again defines a certain yom, this yom, saying through Dawood so much later, as it has been said, this yom, if you hear his voice, do not harden your labim. For if Yahusha ban of Nun established them in rest, he would not have spoken of another yom after that. So there remains a Shabbat keeping for the people of Elohim. For the one having entered into his rest has himself also rested from his works, as Elohim rested from his own at creation. Let us therefore do our utmost to enter into that same rest, lest anyone fall after the same example of disobedience through unbelief as did the original Israelites at Sinai. For the word of Yahuwah is living and working and sharper than any two-edged sword, cutting through even to the dividing of being, nafash, and of nafash and of being, and joints and marrow, and is able to judge the thoughts and intentions of the lab concerning the Shabbat, if you keep it in your lab or not, and turn into the rest. And there is no creature hidden from his sight, but all are naked and laid bare before the eyes of him with whom is our account. Therefore, since we have a great Kahana Gadol, who has passed through the Shamayim, Yahusha, the bond of Yahuwah, let us hold fast our confession, for we do not have a Kahana Gadol, chief minister, unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who was tried in all respects as we are, yet he apart from sin. Therefore, let us come boldly to the throne of compassion and favor, in order to receive compassion and find favor for timely help. Word of Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Yahushua. Last one. I really enjoyed this Shabbat read. I do a little bit different every time, but similar scriptures. And this one flowed so lovely. Matatyahu, chapter 11. Fair enough. Matatyahu, chapter 11, verse 19. Yeah, fair enough. I didn't talk as much. The bond of Adam. Oh, we go on. 20. Matatyahu, chapter 11, verse 20. Then Yahusha began to reproach the cities in where most of his miracles had been done, because they did not repent. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! Because if the miracles that were done in you had been done in Sud and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. But I say to you, it shall be more bearable for Sud and Sidon in the yom of judgment than for you. And you, Capharnaum, who were exalted to the Shamayim, shall be brought down to the grave, because if the miracles that were done in you had been done in Sodom, it would have remained unto this yom. But I say to you that it shall be more bearable for the land of Sodom in the yom of judgment than for you. At that time, Yahusha, responding, said, I toda ta Abba, Adan of the Shamayim and the Rats, because you have hidden these from clever and learned ones, and have revealed them to children. Khan Abba, because so it was well pleasing in your sight. All have been handed over to me by my Abba, and no one knows the Ban except the Abba, nor does anyone know the Abba except the Ban, and he to whom the Ban wants to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I shall give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble in love, and you shall find that Sabbath rest for your beings, your nafashim. For my yoke is gentle and my burden is light, and the Torah is light. Praise God. My burden is the Torah, the light, and it's light. Praise God. This concludes the second part of the Natsarym Shabbat reading with the command to remember the Shabbat Yom, to observe it, and to keep it Qudash. And this is how we do that and what we get out of it, keeping us looking forward, having that expectation. So it's one of my favorite reads. I love them all, but this one really kind of draws you into the theme of the story. So Barak Yahuwah, Yahusha for that, for showing me these scriptures and putting it together for me this way. So with that, I bid you farewell. I probably am not going to do the third part, the renewed covenant meal, and I think because Yah likes to do that more privately, more intimately with me, with all of us. I think I'm really enjoying like just doing it privately with him because I do this with y'all. So I'm just gonna do the renewed covenant meal, and that's it. I'm not gonna do the read really. It's late, but try to go. We're not the 10 yomim of reflection, or whatever I called it. 10 days of all, the 10 yomim of reflection to reflect for up to the yom of HaKaparim, Day of Atonement. I should do that tomorrow, and do this. Still gonna be day 5. So we're excited either way. So praise Yah. So with that, I bid you farewell. May Yahuwah Barakatah favor you and increase you, guard you, protect you, and strengthen you, and keep you. Yahuwah be compassionate and favorable towards you. Yahuwah lift his countenance and his presence and essence upon you, and give you shalom, and fill you with all the fruit of the Ruach, that we be a light to the nations and a light to one another, that we might sharpen each other as iron sharpens iron, that we might prepare each other to be a perfect, spotless, pure, and bride, prepared for you at the Nainu, Alahainu, Malkiainu, Aishainu, that we might be a Chad one, that might be worthy to enter the marriage wedding supper of the Lamb, and to be brought into your chambers, that we be a Chad one of Yahuwah Makehusha. Ruach HaKodash, that we abide in you and you in us, that we be perfect as you are perfect. Tamim as you are Tamim, for you have Yahuwah Makehusha, that make us Tamim and Ruach HaKodash. And so we palad and petition these things, have Yahuwah Makehusha and Ruach HaKodash, with praise and todah and gratefulness by the power of the Dam of the Shah, the renewed covenant, by your power and authority, Makehusha Mashiach, Adonai Noahinu, Adani Mali, Toro Toro Toro, Aman Waman. Halal Yahuwah, Yahusha. Hallelujah. And with that, I bid y'all farewell. Shalom, shalom, Yasharal, and Shabbat Shalom, and joyful Chasameach, joyful Yom Tov, and Yom Rishon, and Yahusha Mashiach. Aman. Halal Yahuwah, Yahusha. Avata.